Awesome. Okay. So hopefully people will start pouring back in here. Julie, is it nice in Ohio? Is it toasty?
Oh my gosh. It's been like 85 degrees and sunny. It's hot. Like I opened up our backyard inflatable baby pool, which sounds lame, but is actually the best thing ever. So that's what I've been up to this weekend.
Yeah, I'm in Kent right now, my apartment outside, and I'm like dripping sweat.
Yes. All right. Looks like people are coming back. Beautiful. Okay, so actually I would love to start now, you guys, by you can put in the chat, like what came up? What are some of the things that you have attached to your body size or losing weight or having a smaller body? What are some of those things that came up for you? And you can also put in this chat as well. What are some of the fears that you may have about fully accepting your body just as she is and relinquishing control on trying to, have a certain body size, shape, weight, whatever it is? Put that in the chat so you can kind of see what's come up for people. And then we'll get into coaching.
While people are typing too, just a quick announcement that even though the course is ending and we do have our final week, we have a week break before our next coaching call. So it's not Memorial Day weekend. It'll be the following week in June, which will really give you some time to digest the course and kind of move forward, have a week without it and see how it goes implementing it into your life and some different questions that might come up for you. Just kind of moving forward. And just wanted to give that announcement, that heads up that it will not be this week. It'll be a week from that. So. But yes, as Julie said, if you would like to share in the chat just some of the things that might have come up for you, some of the things that you do attach to your body image, and maybe some things that we want to talk about tonight as well.
Yeah, so a lot of things on clothes coming up. Holding on to clothes I really like to wear when I lose weight. Yeah, reminders of too small clothes in the closet from a few years is difficult. Lots of clothes that I won't wear because I don't have the right body. Yeah, so we can see how a lot of times, when we think about our bodies, it can really come down to things, some very simple things like what clothes we wear, or clothes you want to wear, the trendy clothes. Yeah. Attention from boys, right? Or yeah, absolutely. The confidence. Yeah, the confidence piece. Absolutely. We think, oh, I have to have this smaller body to fit a certain size. Feeling like you aren't fitting the beauty standard. Absolutely. And so what we want to look at, you guys, here, right, is it's really, really powerful for us to step back and to just get curious. Like, what is it that we've attached to a smaller body? What is it that we've attached to losing weight? Oh, it's the confidence. Oh, I can wear these clothes. Oh, it's A, B, and C, right? And we want to start to just really be aware of what are those things that we've attached to this smaller body, because that can really open up a lot for us to begin our body image work. What I will start off by saying is that when we actually get into body image work, it really isn't actually about looking in the mirror and being like, damn, I look so good, right? Like that might be part of your body image journey. Cool. But I love to think about it. Again, I'm gonna bring up this analogy because I think it helps bring it into perspective. It really is like being in a relationship with any other human being. We are looking at building your relationship with your body. Okay. And a positive body image is knowing that our bodies are good because our bodies literally give us life every single day. Right. So it's about deeply knowing that our bodies are good because they are our bodies, they are our homes. And it's about knowing that ultimately we are more than our bodies. We are more than how we look, that our worth, our value is intrinsic, and it comes from who we are as people and not just how we look to the world. That is at the core of body image work. And it's great if your body image work also includes looking in the mirror and being like, yes, I feel so awesome. But it has to be deeper than that. Right? Just like any relationship with a best friend or a partner, needs to be more than, oh, I think this person is cute, right? Oh, I think this person is attractive. I'm really attracted to them. They look great, right? Any strong friendship or strong partnership has to be more than that. We know that, right? We know that we can't have a solid partnership with another person if it's just based on looks. We all know that, right? It has to be based on things like trust and communication and love and honesty. And it's who they are that we're ultimately attracted to and what makes us good partners. And the same thing goes with our bodies, right? And so we're really looking at building that deeper relationship with our bodies. And we want to look at too, just some very simple things here. So, you know, a lot of the work that we did in the body image video, if you watch the video content, was we started to get really curious about some of the beliefs that we have around bodies and body sizes. And in the intake form, if you guys filled that out, we asked questions like, what have you associated with a larger body? And they can be really uncomfortable to answer those questions. But we ask those questions just because we have all grown up in diet culture. We have all grown up in this culture that promotes the thin ideal, meaning that thin bodies are like the pinnacle. We should all be thin, and that's what we should all be. And so given that, given our cultural structure, given how we've all grown up, no matter where we come from, we all are growing up in this diet culture in the United States, and really it's worldwide, but we'll talk about the US. And so what that means is that we grow up with these beliefs about what it means to have a smaller body versus what it means to have a bigger body. And for most of us, I'm guessing for you guys too, it can feel like these beliefs are just fact, especially when we loop in things like health. Right? And it's like, oh, well, to be healthy, I have to be in a smaller body, right? Oh, being a smaller body means A, B, and C. Being a bigger body means A, B, and C. And it's really important that we begin to step back and see what beliefs that we're holding, and we'll call them body beliefs, that we step back and we can see, okay, what are some of the biases that I might have, so that we can then begin to get critical and challenge them. And if you guys can think back to our first principle of intuitive eating is rejecting the diet mentality. And we spent time looking at the science that's not funded by diet culture, right? The science that is well done science and the health at every size research paradigm. We see the truth that body diversity is very real, that we're all meant to come in different body shapes and sizes. And that weight is a very poor indicator of health, that our health is made up of a lot of different things, including the social determinants of health, like where we grew up, access to healthcare, access to education, quality food, the systemic things, socioeconomic status, right? As well as genes. And yes, diet and exercise make up a portion of that, but that really, it's a very small sliver. And we begin to see this wider scope of, oh, actually, just like some people are 6 feet tall, while others are 5 feet tall, and everywhere in between and above and beyond and whatnot, the same goes with body size. As some of us are just genetically inclined to live in bigger bodies, while others are more genetically inclined to live in smaller bodies. And we've all seen examples of this, right? We've all seen examples of this in our lives. We have friends who maybe have never exercised and don't care about what they eat. There's no judgment in me saying that, zero judgment, and have always lived in a thin body. That was totally my sister, like, and my brother. And then we know people who have always been in big bodies, trying to like lose weight, doing all the things, exercising, and like always stay in a big body, right? Or maybe they lose weight and then it comes back. And this, again, is just showing us set point weight theory. It's showing us this truth that we're all meant to come in different body shapes and sizes. And our bodies do a really good job of trying to regulate that, but then we get in the way. All this to say, you guys, all this to say, and if you want to go back to that first week video, go back to it. All that to say is that when we root ourselves into these truths about how we're all meant to have different body shapes and sizes, then when we step back and we see, oh, I'm thinking in my head that being in a bigger body means these things, we see that that ends up actually being a form of discrimination, because we can't help the body size that our genetics or that our genes dictate, right? We can't, just like our height, like we really can't also control our body size. And so then we can see, oh, wow, like that's just some discrimination happening in my own brain. These are these own like really problematic biases that we all have. And compassion to ourselves, again, these are not our faults. They were programmed into us by diet culture, that is the $70 billion industry, by the beauty industry, that is a $1 billion industry, right? Because they have a lot to gain from us spending our whole lives trying to shrink and fit an ideal. And so it's not our fault that we have had what's called anti-fat bias or fat phobia. It's not our fault. But when we're able to do work like this, and we're able to learn about it, and we're able to notice it within ourselves, that gives us the opportunity to say, okay, now I'm aware of this. Now I get to decide what beliefs and values I want to hold. And that includes my body, your body, all bodies, and what makes human beings valuable and worthy and wonderful. And so that's why a lot of the work we did in the video and the questions we just asked for the breakout room were kind of all around these things that we have, assumed of people based on their body sizes. And so the work begins to be, okay, let's notice when we have these old body beliefs pop up, and then can we check ourselves, challenge those beliefs, and root ourselves into the truth, right? And ultimately, guys, the really cool thing about this work, the really, really, really cool thing about this work is that when we begin to do this work for ourselves, all the things that you guys said on the side, oh, I'll be able to wear the clothes I want to wear. I had the confidence, that I want the confidence that I attach to a smaller body. Whatever it might be that you've always thought, oh, when I lose the weight, when I look this way, then I can wear the clothes, then I can have the confidence, right? Well, guess what? The good thing is that we take away the when. We strip it away and actually see, oh, I have access to these things right now. Okay. Now, I will put a caveat here because I don't want to gaslight anybody. There is an unfortunate truth of the world we live in, right? Where there are a lot of ways in which, yes, it's easier to exist in a smaller body in our society. Things like clothes, right? Walking into any store and finding any clothes you want, we call this thin privilege. It's thin privilege, right? To be able to do that. Things like airplane seats, being able to comfortably fit in an airplane seat. That's another example of thin privilege. So there are systemic things, right, that exist that make it hard to be in a bigger body. And so I don't want to just skate past those. There are some very, very real things that make it hard. It's like if you were, 6 feet tall living in a world built for people that are 5 feet tall. You're like, hey, what the hell, right? But you're not going to try and change that because you can't change your body size ultimately, right? Just like your height, we can't change our body size. The good news, though, especially with clothes, a lot of people put clothes up. The good news in that camp, at least, is that things are slowly getting better. And I did get some good links to share with you guys re-clothes. So all that to say is that we do, for the most part, get to have all the things that we once attached to the smaller body right now. Especially things like that confidence, that self-worth, the self-esteem, speaking up, love, attraction, whatever it might be. We get to have those things as we are right now. And that's the power of this work, is we cut off when I lose the weight, then I can do this. And say, nope, I can do this thing right now. I can do this thing right now. So with that, we asked for people to do a one-on-one coaching. I would love to do that. And then we'll get into some rapid fire stuff, because a question answer is very different than coaching, actually. So I would love to be able to coach somebody. And I asked for 3 volunteers in the form. And is Savannah on the call? I'm not seeing a Savannah name, but in case you are here, but you're using someone else's Zoom, unmute. Okay, so Savannah's not here. How about Emma? Is Emma here? No. Okay. If you are, again, if you're using someone else's computer, it says a different name, then let me know. Okay. Then the last one was Laura.
Yes, I'm here.
Laura, hi. Beautiful.
Hi.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you wrote in the form about how the clothing choices can be hard.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be so with this question. So the reason why I was going to go with Savannah's for the coaching, because hers was more like coachy, where yours I feel like is more question answer. So I can happily answer that, because that it's true, right? And I've had so many clients be like, it's really sucks. It's hard to find clothes that I like and that are stylish. And so I actually did get some links for you of some places that have awesome, awesome, awesome clothes. One, actually, I'm from Columbus, it's based in Cleveland, and they have really cute stuff. So I'm gonna put those in there. But tell me, since you're unmuted, is there more here that you would like to be kind of coached around, and things you would like to work through one-on-one? I know it's in front of the group, so no worries if not. No pressure,
So,
literally.
yeah. It wasn't really, well, body image. I mean, I think it's just, I struggle with how I feel, even though, I try not to look at it as I'm fat, I'm overweight, or anything like that. It's truly how I physically feel, and how difficult that is, that sometimes it's hard to get past in order to find positive things. So I don't know if there's anything, because it's even difficult to move, as well, sometimes just in ways that I want to. And I don't know how to do that in order to get past, and not make it a negative thing, something that I can actually support myself with. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So for you, it sounds like it's not so much like body image in terms of how your body looks. It's more about how you physically feel sometimes, and that it can just be hard to even move sometimes. And that when you're having those kind of physical like pains and whatnot, that those can then prompt the negative feelings about your body. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, and it's not necessarily pains. It's more of a just, my body gets in the way of itself sometimes. So
yeah, right. So just like body getting in the way, just sometimes not as easy to do things that you like to do.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm curious, like, are there any like judgments when you step back and kind of think about these instances where it's like, man, it might just be easier if I was smaller? What are some, like, are there any judgments you're making about yourself or your body in those instances?
Oh yeah. How did I get to this point? Why did I do this to myself? I wish I could just, magically, let all this extra weight disappear. I don't feel good about myself.
Yeah.
All of those.
Yeah. So it's, how did I get to this point? Why did I do myself? So a lot of self-blaming, wishing you could just magically let the weight disappear. And then ultimately it leads you to not feeling good about yourself. What is it about those things that then makes you feel poorly about yourself? What are you believing about yourself ultimately?
That I'm the one that, let myself go. I let myself go. And I didn't do anything about it, when I could have, should have. I guess all those years ago, I think about how I used to be comfortable and healthy, and I don't feel healthy now.
Yeah. So it's this self-blaming of, I'm the one that let myself go.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're to step back and just get curious, is it true that you let yourself go? If you're to look back over the course of your life and marry it to with like all that we've learned in this course, especially, if we're to challenge that, is it really, really true that you're to blame, that you're the one that let yourself go, that
I think, I mean, I feel like it to at least to a certain extent, because I didn't do enough to, you know, love myself, you know, to pay attention to what I needed at the time. I was paying attention to what everybody else needed, work, family, you know, and so, yeah, I didn't find out what I really needed.
So because you were so caring and loving and putting everyone else first, sounds like family and work.
I tried, but yes.
Yeah, right. But because of that, you feel like you maybe didn't give yourself the care that you needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we're to put it in that frame, okay, so you just dedicated your life to the people that you love and work. How does it feel to kind of see it from that lens?
Well, it makes me feel good that I did, you know, I think did what I did, but at the same point, I wish I didn't do that to myself, I guess.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, well, I'm glad I showed them so much love and put them, you know, first and took care of them, but also it would have been nice if I also was able to care for myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I have to figure out how to do that, and it's hard after so many years. So I guess this is, you know, for everybody else who's much younger here, you know, you get, you know, it's good. It's okay to take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And so obviously we can't go back, right? We can't go back. But what I would love is to root you into some compassion for yourself, right? Because there's a lot of pressure to like be this perfect version of ourselves that like does it all, you know, cares for the family, work, is able to like work out and do all the things. And ultimately it's hard to do all that. And it's really hard to do all that through the lens of diet culture, because diet culture keeps us very in the all or nothing, right? And diet culture doesn't help us essentially. It really doesn't. And so I would love, I hope that you can find some compassion for yourself, because ultimately, if I would blame diet culture more than I would not blame you at all. I actually would blame diet culture, because diet culture is the one that kind of keeps us in some tricky mindsets that can be really hard to break.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think you can find some compassion for yourself?
I will try, because I know I need to in order to do this and do this, you know, for myself. So yeah.
I'll have a really great exercise that's all around forgiveness. And I'm going to make a note to, I think I have a PDF. I should be able to put it in Slack. If not, then we'll email it out. But I'm going to send it to you because it's a really, really great exercise in forgiveness, because sometimes ultimately it's not helpful, right, for us to just harbor all this blame and shame around ourselves. And so being able to forgive yourself will be a really, really powerful step to just kind of release it and allow yourself to show up for yourself as you are now. And so I'd love for you to give that a whirl. I believe we also, one of our meditations, and I'll find the exact one to make sure I give you the right one, but one of the meditations is also a really powerful one that also gets into forgiveness. And so I feel like that would be a beautiful one to work on as well. I'll make sure that I tell you exactly. I think it was probably the meditation that went along with this week's content, but I'm going to just double check that for you. Okay. But giving those things a whirl. So here's the thing, right? Yeah, sometimes it's like, man, physically, it feels harder to move and get around in my body. Mm-hmm. And you just want to physically feel well. Yeah, it's great to physically feel well, right? Like that's a wonderful gift for us to physically feel well. And so here's where we want to start to get curious. What are some of the things that you could do to help yourself just physically feel as good as possible in your body as she is? Things that you could do from that place of love and care. And it's like, okay, I want to feel as good as I can. What might some of those things be that would help you feel physically well in the way that you're desiring?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. And, trying to tie it to, the joyful movement as well too. Um, I it's tough. I have a desk job, and so finding that time to actually do something for myself, moving. Um, I've tried many ways to do it, setting schedules for me. It doesn't work because I can easily ignore that. So I think I need to find things that I truly enjoy doing, which is again a difficulty for me because I've been doing things, the way we've been told for so long that I don't even know really what's joyful as far as movement anymore, which is sad. So, I mean, walking, there's always walking.
I love a good walk. Walk on
Yeah.
a podcast is my favorite. What if you were to, over the next few months, I'm not going to say the next like week or month, because like this can be a good thing you can do over the next couple months. What if over the next couple months, and it can be you, or maybe you do with a friend or a few friends, try different things out. Like, what if it was a walk with a friend? What if you tried to go to a couple different like classes, I don't know, in your neighborhood with a friend, and just kind of like looked at it like you're dating different forms of movements. And you're just trying things out, seeing what feels good, seeing what you like, just so that you can kind of like get your feet wet and just explore from this place of like, all right, let's see what I enjoy. Do I like Pilates? Do I like walking? Do I like, yoga? Is it like, a spinning class or something, just whatever, but just kind of trying out different things. And it can help to do it with friends, right? And like that can make it a lot more fun. It can make it social. It can also help, obviously, it can help us make it a priority. Because for a lot of us, and it's sounding like this might be your personality. This is like the biggest personality type is called the obliger, where we will put everyone else before us. And so somebody else wants something from us. There's a deadline at work. Someone has to go there, and they're dependent on you. You will make sure that that gets done. But if it's like your own internal thing, like, oh, I want to go for a walk, you'll override that to make sure that you deliver for the person who's wanting things from you. Does that sound maybe a little
That
bit?
sounds about right.
Okay. That's a lot of us, right? That's like the majority of people is that, right? And it's like, yeah, so like if someone else says, hey, I want this from you, you will make sure it's done. And so from that line of thinking, we go, oh, okay. So then what's really helpful is, all right, if I know that that's how I operate, I know that if someone else is wanting me or expecting me to do something, I'm going to get it done. How can you then like get a friend involved again with this movement thing to be like, oh, well, if I know that I made a date with this friend or whoever it is to go on a walk or try out this new class, you're likely going to prioritize it because it's not just you now. Right. And so it's them too. And that'll help you to carve out that time. And the mindset piece is really important too. So like maybe go like back into that video and do the journaling around like the intentions behind it and all of that, letting go of the pressures and the rules and whatnot. But give that a whirl, right? Because I totally understand that, of course, we want to feel physically well in our bodies. And movement definitely is a thing that can help us feel better. And so how does that sound? Does that feel like doable?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. And I appreciate it. I feel like I wasn't expecting to talk about all that, but it's what I needed. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody, let's get into some rapid fire Q's and A's. You can put it in the chat, or you can just feel free to unmute. But let's spend as much time as we can doing Q's and A's. I do want to give us the last 5 minutes to do a really cool exercise that's called EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique. And so I'll make sure that we stop with time to do that. But go ahead and put in the chat any questions you have around body image, and we can go through those in a more rapid fire type of way. If you can't have the chat, if you're like on your phone or whatever, you can unmute and I can answer that way.
Do you have a go-to list of like resources, as in like research or well-researched articles that help break the connection between weight and health? I know that's something I was really thinking a lot about growing up, and a lot of people around me also make a really direct connection from body fat to health. And I don't believe that as much, but it would be really helpful to see like scientific research or that sort of thing, and especially helpful for my surroundings too and the people around me.
I have tons. I will make a note to put some stuff in the Slack for you. I do though, I can tell you right now in my Instagram bio, which is just julie.olemacher, I have a free resource guide linked there that's going to have a lot of that as well. So you can go there and get that resource guide. And then, yes, I would be happy to share even more in-depth stuff with you guys. And also, then there's also like books on that resource list as well. Because yeah, it's really helpful for us to debunk these things because it helps us then come to that place of acceptance, right? Beautiful. Okay, Heather says, do you recommend for developing a better body image by changing who you see on social media? I can unmute to explain better. Go ahead and unmute, Heather, but yeah, I love this. I already feel you, but I would love to hear more.
So like maybe instead of constantly following like smaller body fitness models, instead follow like fitness models, or like, I guess fitness pages would be a better explanation of bigger body individuals. So like there are some who I follow from Gymshark who are in thinner bodies, but I could never feel like I could relate to them. And I started, I guess, like changing who I was seeing on social media as well, because I wanted to see more Black influencers and content creators. And one creator, she's a bigger body fitness model, but she's also for Gymshark. And that's not something that I guess I would have associated with Gymshark because of how they market themselves. So I guess like all that to say, would you recommend doing that to get a better body image?
It's really, really, really helpful when we're doing this work to fill our spaces with as much body diversity as possible, just like any other diversity that we care about, right? Body diversity goes right in there. And it helps our brain, as we're learning these new things, it helps our brain go, oh, there's an example of someone who is fit as can be and lives in a large body. Right. And so, yes, it's super, 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 super helpful to diversify our social media feed, especially you guys, if you notice there are accounts that trigger you and that make you feel bad, unfollow. Like just plain and simple unfollowing them, but filling your feed with body diversity. And I have a whole guide. I'm seeing someone say, Katie said, do you have any good IG pages? Yes, I have a million. And I have another PDF guide with like 55 different amazing ones. Off the top of my head, 3 people that I love in the fitness related, Meg Boggs. She's awesome. Just had a book come out. Lauren Levenall, she's amazing, and Chrissy King. Those are 3 different women who are badass in that way, and they're on my guide. But I'll make sure to upload that. But yeah, it really does matter. It matters for us to see, so our brains challenge the old programming of like, oh, fitness looks this one way, and if I'm fit, I will look this way, right? And it really challenges that, so then we can start to really piece together, oh, no, body diversity is real. Health does not have a look. Fitness does not have a look. So yeah, definitely recommend that. I'll make sure to give you guys that guide. Thank you for that. All right, let's see here. Sarah says, how do you deal with comparing your body to roommates and friends' smaller bodies? Sarah, are you willing to unmute, or are you able to unmute? If you're not able, it's totally okay. If you don't want to, it's totally okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I can talk about that. So like, I guess like like the main thing is that my roommate has like a very like typical like dancer's body because she was in dance and she was like 5 years old, and it's just hard to be confident in my own body and like seeing like her body and like how like great she looks in certain clothes and stuff, and just like having like those feelings come up.
Yeah. So this is where I'd love for you to get really curious, and this can be a really powerful journal exercise to do. And I don't want to put you on the spot now because unless you want to, let me know. But I would love for you to get curious. What are you making her body size mean about her? And then what are you making your body size mean about you?
I feel like I'm making it mean that like she's like prettier and more successful than me and like more popular than I could ever be because she like looks a certain way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like she's prettier, more popular, successful. And therefore this all always comes back to then like worth and value, right? Like she is like better, right? In that comparison. And if you're stepping back and if we're challenging these things, is that true? Is that actually true? And if we're look at like worth and value as human beings, like challenge that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we're able to challenge these things, when we can call out like, oh, I'm making it mean these things. What we also want to do then, and Sarah's a great thing to do in those moments is like, oh, I'm making it mean that she's prettier, that she's more successful, that she's more popular, right? And therefore she's like better than me. Then we want to go back to, and this is where like the video that we did helped us really break this down and look at body beliefs and values. Because then we can step back and we can challenge it and go, is this true? Is this really really true? And if I'm to believe this, what am I really believing? That I'm believing that certain people that had these certain bodies are better than other people who don't have those bodies, right? And then if we could go back into well, what we know about body diversity, it's like, oh, do I want to believe that someone's better just because of their body size? And that I am less than just because of my body size. And it helps us to kind of start to challenge these beliefs so that we can say, oh, actually, no, my roommate, this person, she's awesome because of who she is. And I'm great because of who I am. And our bodies are just our bodies and they're all good, but we are more than our bodies. And so really coming back to that over and over and over. And so when you notice yourself in that space, give yourself some compassion because we've all been programmed to do just that. I bet everyone in here has had a moment where they compared themselves to somebody else. So we all do it. And then it's showing that compassion. And then that's where, journaling can be so helpful because we can break it down. What am I making this mean? And then we can challenge it and say, no. And it also is then saying like your roommate is more than her body and you are more than your body. And our worth is intrinsic. Coming back to that. Comparison can be really hard, but it also can highlight a really beautiful area for us to grow and to challenge old beliefs and to root ourselves back in our humanity. Because that, again, you guys, is a core theme of body image work, is that we've been so trained to objectify ourselves, especially women in our society. That how we look is the most important thing about us, and that reduces us to an object. And so a really powerful thing and a really important thing is for us to reclaim our humanity and to say, you know what, she's not an object. They're not an object. He's not an object. I'm not an object. I am more than how I look. I am a human, and to return back to our humanity. If you can do that over and over again and choose your humanness, and elevate people's humanity, watch your entire life just get so much richer and more meaningful and more joyful. It's a daily practice though. It's not a thing that we do once and then it's over. It's a daily practice of noticing when we're just reducing ourselves or others to looks and objects and saying, nope, I'm going to see more in her. I'm going to see more in them, right? I'm going to see more in myself. Think you can do that?
Yeah, I can. Thank you so much.
Cool. All right, let's see here. That was Sarah, Katie. Yeah, so I'll post that list of Instagram accounts All right, Emily says, a couple of years ago, I lost a good amount of weight, but in the past year, / year and a half, I've gained most of it back. It's been hard and I've been avoiding weighing myself for more than a year. But the other week I found a scale at home and decided to weigh myself. Since then, I've been weighing myself almost every day, multiple times a day. I feel like I can't stop sometimes. Any advice? I can unmute too. Yeah, Emily, if you want to unmute, I'd be curious, given what we've learned thus far in the course, especially if you watch the first module on breaking up with the diet mentality, how can you kind of look at your weight gain with what we've learned, like through a new lens?
I think, I mean, I don't know, it's tough. I know that I've gained weight because I don't, like starve myself the way that I used to and things like that. So I'm like, okay, that's great. Like, it's just the size that I'm meant to be. But there's always a part of me that's like, maybe I'm meant to be smaller. Maybe I should be eating a little less or things like that. Or I guess, and there's also hoping that one day I'm going to step on and I'm going to see the number start to go down again. And I'll be like, oh, okay, good. It was just a little phase where I gained weight. But I guess I do know deep down that I am treating my body so much better than I did before.
Yeah.
It's just hard to accept that when you have been told that gaining weight is not a good thing ever.
Absolutely. It is really hard when we're taught that gaining weight is always bad. But as you just so beautifully said, you're like, I know I'm taking so much better care of my body now. It sounds like you're actually like nourishing yourself much better and you're feeding yourself and not starving yourself. And this is where, you guys, it's really helpful for us to step back and realize our healthy body is never going to be the healthy body when like our healthiest self is never when we're starving ourselves, right? Or restricting or over exercising. Our bodies are then breaking down, and that's not where we're supposed to be, right? But when we're actually taking care of ourselves and feeding ourselves and getting enough food, getting plenty of food and rest and all the things, that's when our body's like, oh, thank you. And so I know for me, and I'll share this in case it's helpful for you, what's been really, really important is for me to keep reframing weight gain. I've gained a lot of weight since I graduated college because that's when I was my most disordered and I was recovering, and my recovery has meant gaining weight because that's where my body wanted to be. And so for me, I have grounded myself in this mantra that I've gained weight and health in life. And I love that mantra because it ties those three things together. I gained weight and health and life, because that's just been my own truth. And so maybe you create your own weight gain reframe mantra that you can, that's based in your own truth too. And maybe that includes you going back and journaling. What are all the things you've gained as you've also gained weight? Health being one of them, it sounds like, right? But what other things have you gained? Have you gained maybe more joyful moments with friends? Have you gained more freedom? Like, what are some other things that you've gained? Our brain wants to trick us. And this is where there's this metaphor I love using, and I'll just use it here again, is it's like our brain is this garden. And for so long, we don't really realize we have a garden to tend to. And so it's just filled with weeds. And the weeds are these negative body beliefs, these old body thoughts, right? And when we do this work, we start to see, oh my God, I have a garden to tend, right? And if you've ever gardened, I'm actually a terrible gardener, but I'm trying. If you ever gardened, we know that we have to pull out the weeds and then plant the seeds of the flowers or the veggies or whatever it is that you're growing and to tend to the garden. And so what we're doing here is we want to, like, whenever that one of those old beliefs pop up, like, oh no, I've gained weight, it's bad. No, we got to notice it. Oh, I noticed the weed, and then we got to pull the weed, right? Okay, so wait, do I choose that? Do I want that to stay in my garden? Yes or no? Right? And whenever those beliefs are hurtful for us and for others, we want to pull those weeds, to pull them out of our garden. And then in its place, I want to plant that seed of truth, the seed of empowerment, seed of love, that new belief, right? And so for me, for instance, if I had the old thought come up, oh, you've gained weight, that's not okay, that's bad, I would say, I'm going to pull that. Nope, I don't want to entertain that. That's not the truth. And I plant the seed again of, nope, I've gained weight and health in life. My body is good just as she is. And I ground myself into that. And the thing with gardens and the thing with our brains as well, and my friends, I know it can feel really hard at first to rewire our brain, but our brains are malleable. Neuroplasticity is real. We can change the ways that we think. Does it take work? Yes. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's super easy, but we can do it through consistently noticing the weeds, pulling the weeds, and planting those seeds of love and truth and empowerment and those beliefs that you intentionally want to plant in your garden. And so just like weeds come back, I wish they didn't, they do. Just like weeds come back in a garden, the old beliefs are going to want to come back too, because it's been 20 whatever years of those beliefs. And so compassion, it's just about pulling those beliefs, right, and replanting the seed. And so I wonder if there's a way for you to maybe let go of your scale. Do you think you could do that?
I could try. It's not mine, which is bad because it was someone else's, and I snuck it. So it's just kind of there.
The baseball bat. Okay, noted.
I wish I could, but no, it's kind of just there staring me in the face, which is kind of annoying.
So there's multiple different things that you can do here. And this is where, you know, and if we had like more time one-on-one, that'd be great, but we don't. So unfortunately, I just gotta kind of give you some things that you can do. And this is where I'm gonna lean on you being the expert on you, okay? Sometimes what can be helpful and you know, is to actually neutralize that number. And so sometimes for like some people need to just like throw it away and just never step on it. Others find it really empowering to say, I want to step on the scale and see the number and be like, cool, no big deal. It's just like if we're to measure our height. I'm like, cool, I'm like 5'6", 5'7", whatever. Right? It's just neutral. And if we can see our weight as being just as neutral, or even, wow, how awesome. That's how much space I take up. Awesome. Wow, like I'm gaining health and life. That's amazing. Like, look at me. Like, just really neutralizing or even making that number a more positive experience. So that's one thing you could work on. And if you do that, you kind of want to like do some journaling before and kind of get yourself ready. The number means nothing about me. It's just my relationship to gravity. Like, that's it. Step on, just like measurements of my height. It's just another number that describes like my body size. Cool, it's no big deal. Take a few deep breaths. Or of course it's, and this is where, again, it's kind of the whole like full permission. If you're like, oh, I shouldn't get on the scale, of course you're going to want to even more, right? Because it's that rebel. So it's also, you can also lean into that full permission. Oh, I'm totally allowed to step on the scale. Do I want to, knowing how it might make me feel? I'm totally allowed to, right? And lean into that. Or if it's someone like, you can ask like a friend or maybe someone you live with, like, hey, could you hide it? Like, could you just hide it from me? I'm struggling. Can you just hide it? So there's all different things that you can do. Let me know in the Slack how things go. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I wish we had some more. Okay. Sorry. Anna, yes, I do have people on my list for you as well. So I'll make sure I get that list to you guys tomorrow for sure. Okay, so I wrote that down. We want to end real quick, and we only have 2 minutes, but we can do it in 2 minutes. A really powerful tool for helping us to rewire our brains, to help us really navigate a hard body image day. It's called EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique. This is a technique that's been used for ages. It's very similar, like the science is kind of rooted in similar sciences as like Chinese medicine and acupuncture and the different kind of like meridians in our bodies. So it kind of uses some of that methodology. And it's a really great way, again, if you're having a really hard body image day, to kind of just reset. It's also helpful if you're having a good day or a normal day, but you want to use this to ground yourself into some of your body beliefs. And if you're like, body beliefs, what? We went through body beliefs in the video content. And so if you haven't done that, you can go back and do that and formulate your body beliefs. That is absolutely critical. So make sure you do that, you guys. And so essentially what we do, and there's again multiple ways to do this. I'm trying to do this really quickly. I threw my pen. But what you're going to start doing is on a hard body image day, you first want to give voice to how you're feeling. And you're going to tap on different parts of your body. And I'll also upload a little thing for you guys on EFT in Slack. I have a lot of PDFs to upload for you guys. I got you though. Okay, so you're going to tap here with your 3 fingers lightly. And you say to yourself, even though I'm feeling, give voice to how you're feeling. Even though I'm feeling really bad in my body today, I fully love and accept myself. Okay, so that's how you start. You tap right here. Even though I'm feeling really bad in my body today, I fully love and accept myself. And then you're going to give voice to how you're feeling. And you tap on your head as you say it. I'm feeling today just like really, really rough. Whatever it is, you just give voice and you speak it out. You go to your temples, and then we go under our eyes, and then under our nose. Now I'll upload a little thing that has these points, and then under your lips, and you just keep giving voice. You're just like letting yourself air it out, collarbones. And then we go under the kind of like your bra line right there. Yep. And then back to the top. And you do this for as long as it feels like helpful. I forgot, you go inside the eyebrows and then temples. But many people say do it for 3 rounds, giving voice to how you're currently feeling. Okay, any old negative beliefs that are popping up. Then after like 3 rounds, you would switch. Even though I'm feeling like I'm having the worst body image day ever, I know that my body is good. And I know that I'm more than my body. And I thank my body for giving me life every day. I thank my heart for beating, whatever it is, right? Go through your body beliefs. All bodies are good and we're more than our bodies. I'm a really badass human being and my body does so much for me every day. And go, and then again, 3 times. And it really helps you to release and let go a bit. So that's EFT, and it's a really, really great technique. So I hope you guys find it helpful. I will post about that in Slack tomorrow as well. So you have a little guide around that as well. Okay. All right. It's 8:01. So we gotta call it a night, you guys, but thank you so much for your vulnerability, for showing up for yourselves and each other. And I'll see you guys in the Slack.
Thank you all for joining. Yes. And thank you, Julie, for EFT. It's a really great technique. Again, we'll share it in the Slack. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out on any of the CHAARG emails or in the Slack. We're here for you guys. We have another week left of content. And yeah, thank you guys. A good rest of your Sunday.